The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Congress hummed with electromagnetic tension as Melissa Chen stood before the assembled delegates of 47 civilizations. Her neural implant translated the cacophony of alien languages into comprehensible data streams, but she needed no translation to understand the contempt radiating from the Zathrine ambassador's chromatophores. Your species proposes. What exactly? The ambassador's translation matrix crackled with static that Melissa recognized as deliberate mockery. That we halt neutron star harvesting operations because of indigenous microorganisms in the accretion disk. Jack Morrison sat behind her at the human delegation's station, his fingers dancing across haptic interfaces as he compiled real-time data from their survey drones. The numbers told an unambiguous story. The Zythrine's industrial extraction was destroying a nascent form of magnetotrophic life organisms that fed on magnetic field fluctuations and existed in quantum superposition, states unique, irreplaceable, and according to Galactic Congress precedent, utterly irrelevant. The Accords of Preservation clearly state, Melissa began. The Accords applied to sentient life, interrupted the Vorlian Trade Minister, its methane-breathing apparatus hissing. These are base organisms, curiosities at best. Jack leaned forward, sub-vocalizing through their encrypted channel. Mel, their quantum coherence patterns show problem-solving complexity equivalent to Earth's cephalopods. We can prove protosentience. She nodded imperceptibly, but before she could speak, the Drothian War Archon's holographic form materialized at the chamber's center, courtesy afforded only to the Congress's most powerful members. The humans waste our time, it announced, its translated voice carrying harmonics designed to trigger submission responses in most species. Humanity's evolutionary history had left them immune. For 3 cycles, they have obstructed essential resource extraction with their primitive sentimentality. The Zathrine Consortium has offered generous compensation. Accept it, or the Congress will proceed without human approval. Melissa felt her heart rate, steady as combat-grade adrenaline regulators kicked. In military augmentations, she'd never deactivated after the border wars around the chamber. She noted the subtle shifts, delegates from younger species watching with something like hope, while the ancient civilizations radiated bored impatience. Jack's data stream painted a clearer picture. The Zythrine weren't just harvesting neutronium, they were strip mining it with quantum drilling technology that destabilized local spacetime. The magnetotrophic organisms were collateral damage in a process that would leave a permanent gravitational scar, disrupting stellar formation patterns across 12 parsecs. We cannot accept, Melissa said quietly. The chamber erupted, not in outrage that would have implied. They took the objections seriously but in dismissive laughter that rippled through translation matrices in ways specifically calibrated to humiliate the Zythrine ambassador's chromatophores pulsed with amusement. Then humanity can stand aside. The Congress votes. Jack's hands stilled on his console. Through their private channel, his voice carried an edge she recognized from their academy days. They're not even pretending anymore. 40 cycles of diplomatic protocol, and they're just railroading us. The vote commenced with mechanical efficiency. 39 civilizations approved immediate extraction. 4 abstained, 3 including humanity. By Congress law, operations would proceed within 1 standard rotation. Melissa straightened, her augmented musculature lending her movements an unconscious, predatory grace that made several delegates' security protocols activate. Then humanity withdraws from the Galactic Congress, effective immediately. Now the chamber fell silent. The Vorlian minister's methane intake stuttered. You cannot be serious. The economic integration alone has been systematically weighted against us for decades. Jack interrupted, rising from his station. His neural lace projected data across every delegate's interface simultaneously, a breach of protocol that would normally result in immediate ejection. But the security protocols hesitated, perhaps sensing something in the human's biochemistry that triggered ancient prey responses. The data was damning. Trade agreements that favored monopolistic cartels, technology sharing treaties with one-way clauses, resource claim precedents that somehow always ruled against human interests, and underneath it all, a pattern. Humanity was useful as a client species, but never meant to be an equal partner. The border wars taught us something, Melissa continued, her voice carrying the flat affect of someone making irrevocable decisions. We learned that when negotiation fails, there are other solutions. The Drothian War Archon's hologram rippled with what its species considered amusement. You would threaten us. Your fleet comprises perhaps 3,000 vessels. The Zathrine Commercial Security Force alone are not threatening anything. Melissa cut in. I'm informing you. Humanity is leaving. We're withdrawing from all mutual defense pacts, all trade agreements, all diplomatic protocols. Effective within 1 hour, human space is closed. Any vessel attempting to transit without explicit permission will be treated as hostile. Jack triggered the final data packet. Every delegate's interface suddenly displayed real-time feeds from human space, and for the first time, the ancient civilizations understood what they'd overlooked. Humanity hadn't been building a fleet. They'd been building a distributed weapons grid that transformed every orbital station, every asteroid mining platform, every research facility into a node in a defensive network of terrifying sophistication. Kinetic kill vehicles positioned with fusion drives that could accelerate to 0.3 c, quantum entangled, targeting systems that made electronic warfare meaningless, and stationed at every major approach vector, relativistic weapons platforms that had been hiding in plain sight. Classified as communications infrastructure, the border wars had been fought against the Krillian swarm, a species the Galactic Congress had deemed regrettably expansionist. Humanity had stopped them cold at the cost of 11 billion lives. They'd learned to wage war not with honor or restraint, but with absolute mechanical efficiency. You wouldn't dare, the Zathrine ambassador finally whispered. We don't want war, Melissa said. We want to be left alone. Humanity will defend its territory, maintain independent trade relationships with willing partners, and conduct our own stellar surveys. We will no longer participate in a system that values profit over life. She turned toward the exit, Jack falling into step beside her. As they reached the threshold, she paused. One more thing, those magnetotrophic organisms. We've placed 30 defense platforms around that neutron star. The Zythrine Consortium is welcome to try harvesting, but they'll do it through a field of relativistic projectiles. The chamber remained silent as the humans departed. In the quantum-encrypted communication networks that connected the Galactic Congress's true power brokers, frantic calculations commenced. Humanity controlled 17 strategic choke points in the local spiral arm. Their industrial capacity, once dismissed as crude, had been underestimated by an order of magnitude, and their demonstrated willingness to accept catastrophic casualties made game theory predictions. Uncomfortable. Outside the Congress station, aboard the human corvette Determination, Melissa finally allowed herself to exhale. That was insane, Jack muttered, strapping into the pilot's cradle. Probably, she agreed, but I'm tired of begging for scraps at a table where we were never meant to sit as equals. As the corvette's fusion drive ignited, initiating the first human departure from Galactic Congress space in 40 cycles, neither of them looked back. Behind them, the universe's power structure had begun to shake, not from military might, but from the simple, terrifying realization that humanity was willing to walk away from everything they built if the alternative was complicity in another species. Extinction. The magnet organisms continued their quantum dance in the neutron star's accretion disk, unaware that they'd become the catalyst for humanity's declaration of independence. And in the cold mathematics of interstellar politics, a new equation emerged. A species that valued principles over profit was either suicidally foolish or dangerously unpredictable. The Galactic Congress would spend the next decade discovering which end.